In a world where life moves at a relentless pace, people often find themselves caught in the endless cycle of worry, stress, and uncertainty. We spend most of our time chasing external goals, success, money, recognition, but rarely do we pause to ask ourselves, what is the true meaning of life? Are we living in alignment with our true selves, or are we merely drifting along with the current? How can we find inner peace amidst the chaos of the modern world? This is where philosophy emerges as a guiding light in the darkness of life. Philosophy is not just an abstract collection of ideas, but a powerful tool for introspection, self-discovery, and transformation. Three profound schools of thought, Taoism, Stoicism, and Existentialism, each offer unique perspectives on existence, purpose, and the art of living harmoniously with oneself and the world. Taoism teaches us to let go, to flow with life's natural rhythms, and to embrace the Tao, the eternal path. Stoicism helps us focus on what we can control, release what we cannot, and cultivate inner tranquility. Existentialism encourages us to create our own meaning, take responsibility for our choices, and live authentically. At first glance, Taoism, Stoicism, and Existentialism may seem to be unrelated or even contradictory. Taoism emphasizes letting go and surrendering to the flow of life. Stoicism teaches us to control our emotions and master our inner world. Existentialism urges us to create meaning and define our essence through action. However, a deeper look reveals a hidden connection among these three philosophies. Taoism's practice of letting go is akin to the Stoic acceptance of what cannot be controlled. Stoic mastery of the mind aligns with the existentialist call to rise above external circumstances and define our purpose. Existentialism's call for self-determination mirrors the Taoist principle of living in harmony with one's true nature, embracing both the dark and the light. Throughout this journey, we will dive deep into each philosophy, exploring its origins, core teachings, and practical applications. Discover how these timeless philosophies can help us navigate the complexities of modern life, cultivating inner peace, courage, and freedom. Integrate the wisdom of these three philosophies to form a comprehensive worldview, a new way of living based on acceptance, inner strength, and self-created meaning. Imagine yourself standing on a mountaintop overlooking a river that winds its way through the valley below. The water flows steadily, never stopping, never resisting, just moving with the natural current. This is life, ever-changing, ever-moving. We cannot stop the flow of life, but we can choose how we respond to it. Let us embark on a journey through the philosophies of Taoism, Stoicism, and Existentialism. This is not just a journey through ancient wisdom, but a voyage into the depths of our own minds and souls, seeking to discover who we truly are. Imagine a river winding its way through a lush valley. The water flows effortlessly around rocks and obstacles, never forcing its way, but always finding a path forward. This is the essence of Taoism, the art of living in harmony with the natural flow of life. What is the Tao? The Tao, or Tao, is the fundamental principle that governs the universe. It is the source, the path, the essence of all things. It is the force that connects everything and everyone. Laozi, the ancient sage and author of the Tao Te Ching, described the Tao as, "The Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The Tao cannot be fully understood through words or concepts. It can only be felt and experienced by aligning oneself with its flow." Definition of Wu Wei. Wu Wei is often misunderstood as inaction or passivity. However, it is not about doing nothing. It is about acting in harmony with the natural flow without forcing or striving. Wu Wei can be translated as effortless action or non-doing. It is the state of being in complete alignment with the Tao, where actions become spontaneous and effortless. Example of Wu Wei in nature. Think of a tree in the wind. The branches sway with the breeze, bending but not breaking. It doesn't resist the wind, it moves with it. Similarly, a fish swimming in a river doesn't fight against the current. It flows with it, using minimal effort to achieve maximum effect. Practical application of Wu Wei. In our daily lives, we often try to control everything, our work relationships, even our emotions. Wu Wei invites us to step back, release control, and trust the flow of life. Practical exercise. Identify one area in your life where you feel stuck or frustrated. Ask yourself, am I forcing an outcome or am I allowing things to unfold naturally? Take a moment to breathe deeply and imagine yourself as the river flowing around obstacles without resistance. Understanding yin and yang. Yin and yang represent the dualities of life, light and dark, hard and soft, active and passive. These two forces are not opposites, but complementary elements that work together to create balance and harmony. The yin-yang symbol shows a swirling circle of black and white, each containing a dot of the other. This illustrates that within every light there is darkness, and within every darkness there is light. Yin and yang in everyday life. In our lives, yin might represent rest, reflection, and softness, while yang signifies action, ambition, and strength. To live in harmony with the Tao, we must learn to balance these two forces, to know when to act and when to rest, when to speak and when to listen. Setting the scene. A young monk is struggling to master a martial arts technique. He tries to break a stone with a powerful kick, but fails repeatedly. Frustrated, he asks his master for advice. The master takes him to a nearby river and tells him to watch the water flow around a large rock. Dialogue. Master, what do you see? Monk. The water flows around the rock effortlessly. Master, exactly. The water does not fight the rock. It flows around it. Yet over time it will wear the rock down. Be like the water. Flow around obstacles without forcing your way through. The monk returns to his training, embracing the lesson of Wu Wei, using grace and flow rather than brute force. Embracing simplicity. In the Tao Te Ching, Laozi teaches that less is more. The less we strive, the more we align with the Tao. Practical exercise. Spend a day in silence, simply observing the flow of life around you. The wind through the trees, the sound of water, the rhythm of your breath. Write down 3 areas in your life where you can practice Wu Wei. Letting go, simplifying and flowing naturally. Letting go of control. The modern world teaches us to chase after success, control outcomes, and force progress. Taoism teaches the opposite, to let go, to surrender, to trust the flow. Example. Instead of trying to control how others perceive you, focus on being authentic and genuine. Instead of forcing a relationship to work, allow it to evolve naturally. Mindful breathing exercise. Sit comfortably in a quiet place. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in imagining the air as a flowing river. As you exhale, imagine the river flowing out, carrying away any tension or resistance. Repeat this for 5 minutes, allowing your mind to relax and align with the present moment. Narration. In the art of flow, we learn that life is not about controlling every outcome, but about moving gracefully through whatever comes our way. Like water, we adapt, we bend, we flow, and in that flow, we find peace. Taoism teaches us that the secret to a peaceful life is not in fighting the current, but in flowing with it. The river does not struggle, and neither should we. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm. The wind is howling, the rain is pouring, and chaos surrounds you. Yet within yourself there is a place of calm, a fortress of inner strength that remains untouched by the external world. This is the essence of Stoicism. What is Stoicism? Stoicism is an ancient Greek and Roman philosophy that teaches us to focus on what we can control and accept what we. Founded by Zeno of Citium around 300 BCE, it became one of the most practical and enduring philosophies, influencing notable figures like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions, but mastering them through reason, perspective, and self-discipline. Understanding the dichotomy. The core teaching of Stoicism is the distinction between what is within our control and what is not. According to Epictetus, some things are within our control and some things are not. Our opinions, desires, and actions are within our control. External events, other people's actions, and the past are not. By focusing only on what we can control, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and anxiety. Practical application. Make a 2-column list. Column 1. Things you can control: your actions, thoughts, responses. Column 2. Things you cannot control: other people's opinions, the weather, the past. Take a deep breath and let go of everything in column 2. Focus solely on what is in column 1. Definition of amor fati. Amor fati means love of fate. It is the Stoic practice of embracing everything that happens to us, the good, the bad, and the unexpected, as a necessary part of our journey. Instead of wishing for a different life or lamenting over difficulties, Stoics learn to love whatever life brings. Example, Marcus Aurelius. As the Emperor of Rome, Marcus Aurelius faced constant wars, betrayals, and loss. Yet in his private journal, he wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs." He accepted every hardship as an opportunity to practice virtue, patience, resilience, and wisdom. The Stoic perspective on obstacles. According to the Stoics, obstacles are not setbacks but stepping stones for growth. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, every obstacle presents a chance to develop inner strength. Practical application. When faced with a challenge, ask yourself, what virtue can I practice in this situation? How can this obstacle make me stronger? Example. If a project at work fails, instead of getting frustrated, use it as an opportunity to practice patience and problem solving. What is premeditatio malorum? It translates to premeditation of evils. The practice involves mentally preparing for potential setbacks or difficulties before they occur. By imagining the worst-case scenario, Stoics train their minds to respond calmly and rationally, rather than reacting with shock or anger. Exercise the Stoic mindset. Sit quietly and close your eyes. Visualize a situation you fear: losing a job, failing a project, or facing rejection. Imagine yourself experiencing this situation, but instead of reacting emotionally, you remain calm and composed. Reflect on how you would handle the situation with grace and resilience. Why contemplate death? While it may seem morbid, the Stoics believe that reflecting on mortality is essential for living fully and intentionally. Seneca wrote, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books every day." The one who puts the finishing touches on their life each day is never short of time. Exercise the daily reflection. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to reflect on your actions, words, and thoughts. Ask yourself, if today were my last day, did I live it well? What would I do differently if tomorrow never came? Who is the Stoic sage? The Stoic sage is the ideal Stoic, a person who has achieved complete mastery over their emotions and actions. While the Stoics acknowledged that reaching the level of the sage is almost impossible, they believed striving toward this ideal would make us wiser and more virtuous. Traits of the Stoic sage: unmoved by praise or criticism, accepts both success and failure with the same calm demeanor, focused solely on virtue, the only true good in life. Daily practices. Morning meditation. Reflect on the day ahead. Ask, what can I control today? Midday check-in. Pause and assess your mental state. Are you focused on what you can control, or are you stressing over what you cannot? Evening. Reflection. Review your actions, thoughts, and responses. Where did you practice Stoic principles? Where did you falter? Practical example. Imagine a stressful day at work. Deadlines are looming, a colleague is criticizing you, and things aren't going as planned. Instead of reacting with frustration, take a step back. Focus only on what you can control: your actions, your words, your mindset. Repeat the Stoic mantra, this too shall pass. What matters is how I respond. Narration. In the art of Stoicism, we learn that inner strength is not about suppressing emotions, but about mastering them. It is about accepting what we cannot control, letting go of what does not serve us, and focusing solely on what we can influence: our thoughts, our actions, and our character. Stoicism teaches us that true power lies not in controlling the world, but in controlling ourselves. In every obstacle there is an opportunity. In every loss there is a lesson. And in every moment there is a chance to practice virtue. Imagine standing alone in a vast empty desert. There is no map, no path, no guide, just you and the endless horizon. This is the existential condition, a life without inherent meaning, where each person must create their own purpose. What is existentialism? Existentialism is a 20th century philosophical movement that emphasizes individual freedom, choice, and responsibility. It asks profound questions. What is the meaning of life? What does it mean to exist? How do we create purpose in a world that appears indifferent? Key figures: Jean-Paul Sartre. Existence precedes essence. We are born without predetermined purpose and must create our own meaning through actions. Albert Camus. Life is absurd, but we can choose how to respond, either with despair or with defiance. Friedrich Nietzsche. We must go beyond conventional morals and create our own values. The path of the Übermensch, Overman. The central idea. Sartre argued that we are not born with a predefined purpose. Instead, we come into the world as blank slates, and it is through our actions that we define who we are. Man is nothing else but what he makes of himself. Sartre. The weight of freedom. With complete freedom comes complete responsibility. We are condemned to be free, meaning that we must constantly make choices, and we cannot escape the burden of those choices. Example: the unfulfilled worker. A man works in a mundane job, feeling unfulfilled. Sartre would say that he is not stuck, he is choosing to remain there. The existentialist challenge is to take responsibility and either find meaning in the work or choose a different path. What is the absurd? Camus defines the absurd as the conflict between our desire to find meaning and the apparent meaninglessness of the universe. In the myth of Sisyphus, Camus describes Sisyphus as a man condemned to push a boulder up a hill only to watch it roll back down forever. Embracing the absurd. Camus argues that despite the futility, Sisyphus must imagine himself happy. Why? Because he accepts his fate and chooses to keep pushing the boulder. A metaphor for embracing life despite its inherent meaninglessness. Practical application. Think of a repetitive, mundane task in your life. A job, a chore, a routine. Instead of resenting it, ask yourself, can I find meaning in the act itself? How can I embrace this task with purpose despite its apparent absurdity? The Übermensch Overman. Nietzsche proposed the concept of the Übermensch, a person who transcends conventional morality and creates their own values. Rather than seeking external validation, the Übermensch lives according to their own principles, striving for self-actualization. The will to power. Nietzsche believed that the fundamental drive in humans is not survival or happiness, but the will to power, the desire to assert oneself, to create, to shape one's life intentionally. Example: the artist. An artist who refuses to conform to commercial standards, choosing instead to pursue their own vision, embodies the spirit of the Übermensch. They are willing to endure hardship and rejection to remain true to their creative purpose. What is bad faith? Sartre describes bad faith as the act of lying to oneself to avoid the responsibility of freedom. It is pretending to be something we are not to escape the anxiety of making authentic choices. Example: the waiter. Sartre describes a waiter who acts overly polite, playing the role of the perfect waiter. In doing so, he denies his freedom, choosing to define himself solely by his job rather than his true, practical application. Ask yourself, am I living authentically, or am I playing a role to fit in or please others? What would I do differently if I were completely honest with myself? The double-edged sword of freedom. Existential freedom is both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, we have the power to shape our lives. On the other hand, we bear the responsibility for every choice we make. Navigating existential angst. Existentialists embrace angst, the anxiety that comes with freedom. Instead of avoiding it, they see it as a sign that we are awake, aware, and actively choosing our path. Practical exercise, the freedom reflection. Write down 3 major decisions you are currently facing. For each decision, consider the consequences of acting or not acting. Ask yourself, am I choosing out of fear or am I choosing out of authenticity? Why contemplate death? For existentialists, contemplating death is not a morbid exercise but a call to live more fully. Camus wrote, "The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion." Exercise, the existential journal. Imagine today is your last day. Write down what you would do differently if you knew you only had 24 hours left. Reflect. What does this reveal about how I am currently living? Embracing the freedom to choose. Existentialism does not provide ready-made answers. It challenges us to create our own meaning through our actions, choices, and commitments. Sartre said, "Life has no meaning a priori. It is up to you to give it meaning." Practical application, the purpose exercise. Take a blank sheet of paper. Write down 3 core values that you want to live by. Define 3 actions you can take this week to align more closely with those values. Narration. Existentialism is not about despair. It is about the courage to face life without illusions and to create meaning where there is none. It is about becoming the author of your own story, no matter how absurd or uncertain the world may seem. In a universe without inherent meaning, the challenge is not to find purpose, but to create it. And in that act of creation, we discover who we truly are. Philosophy is not just a collection of abstract ideas. It is a way of living a set of practical tools to navigate the complexities of life. In this chapter, we will explore how to integrate the principles of Taoism, Stoicism, and Existentialism into daily life. From morning routines to difficult conversations, from setting goals to handling setbacks. Letting go of control, Taoism teaches that life is like a river. It flows whether we resist or not. The key to inner peace is not in controlling the current, but in moving with it. Practice the Wu Wei journal. At the end of each day, write down one thing you tried to control but couldn't. Reflect on how it made you feel and how you could approach it differently with the Wu Wei mindset. Letting go and allowing life to unfold naturally. The power of non-resistance. Identify a situation where you feel resistance. A difficult colleague, a stressful project, a strained relationship. Ask yourself, what am I resisting? Why am I resisting it? What would happen if I allowed it to be as it is? Visualization exercise. Close your eyes and imagine yourself as water flowing around a rock. Feel the ease and fluidity as you move effortlessly through life's obstacles. Morning meditation, the Stoic preparation. Every morning, sit in a quiet place and reflect on the potential challenges of the day. Visualize how you might respond to each challenge with calm reason and acceptance. Repeat the Stoic mantra, I control how I respond, not what happens. The evening reflection, the Stoic inventory. Before going to bed, review your day. Ask yourself, where did I act according to my principles? Where did I let external events disturb my peace? What can I do differently tomorrow? Practicing amor fati, loving your fate. Choose one current difficulty in your life. A financial setback, a health challenge, a strained relationship. Instead of resisting it, embrace it as part of your journey. Write down 3 potential lessons this challenge could teach you. Existential journaling, the freedom to choose. Set aside 15 minutes each day to reflect on your current life choices. Write about, what choices am I making that feel authentic? What choices am I making out of fear, obligation, or expectation? If I were to act from complete authenticity, what would I do differently? The daily meaning exercise. Existentialism teaches that meaning is created, not found. Each morning, write down one small action that would bring meaning to your day. A kind gesture, a creative act, a moment of reflection. At the end of the day, review whether you followed through and how it made you feel. The absurd task, reframing mundane activities. Choose a repetitive, seemingly meaningless task. Washing dishes, commuting to work, cleaning the house. Rather than seeing it as a chore, view it as an opportunity to practice presence and mindfulness. Repeat Camus's phrase, "The struggle itself toward the heights is enough to fill a man's heart." The Taoist flow, let go and observe. When faced with a difficult situation, practice non-resistance. Breathe deeply and ask yourself, what would water do? Move through the challenge with calm and flexibility, allowing things to unfold without forcing outcomes. The Stoic strength, focus on what you can control. Identify the core elements of the situation that you can influence. Your words, actions, and attitude. Let go of what is outside your control. Other people's opinions, external circumstances. Repeat the Stoic affirmation, I choose how I respond. The existential creation, define your meaning. Ask yourself, what does this moment mean to me? Choose one small purposeful action that aligns with your values and principles. Write it down and carry it with you throughout the day as a reminder of your chosen purpose. Step 1. Morning. Intention. 5 minutes before starting the day, sit quietly and set a single intention based on one of the 3 philosophies. Today, I will flow like water, Taoism. Today, I will focus only on what I can control, Stoicism. Today, I will create my own meaning, Existentialism. Step 2. Midday. Check-in, 5 minutes. Pause halfway through the day and assess how you are feeling. Ask, am I flowing, resisting, or forcing? Adjust your mindset accordingly, letting go, accepting, or redefining the moment. Step 3. Evening reflection. 10 minutes. Reflect on the day's experiences. Write down one thing you let go of Taoism, one moment of inner strength, Stoicism, and one where you created meaning, Existentialism. Conclude with the phrase, I am the river, I am the rock, I am the creator. Conflict resolution. Taoist approach. Remain calm and allow the other person to express themselves without reacting. Stoic approach. Focus on your response, not their words. Ask, what is within my control here? Existential approach. Define the purpose of the conversation. Are you seeking to resolve, to understand, or to assert your boundaries? Handling rejection. Taoist approach. Accept that not every opportunity is meant for you. Flow to the next one. Stoic approach. Reframe the rejection as a lesson. What can I learn from this? Existential approach. Choose to give the experience meaning. What does this teach me about myself and my path? Narration. Life is a journey with no fixed path, no predetermined destination. It is up to each of us to decide how we will travel through it. With resistance or with flow, with fear or with courage, with aimlessness or with meaning. Taoism, Stoicism, and Existentialism each offer a different lens through which to view the world. The fluid river, the steady rock, the creative soul. But at the heart of each philosophy is the same message. Life is not about what happens to us, but how we respond, how we grow, and how we choose to live. In the end, it is not the external events that define us, but the inner journey we undertake to understand ourselves and to align with the flow, the strength, and the meaning of life. Imagine walking through 3 distinct landscapes: a tranquil river, a rugged mountain, and a vast open desert. Each represents a different philosophy. The river flows effortlessly, embodying the principles of Taoism, the art of letting go. The mountain stands firm, representing Stoicism, the cultivation of inner strength. The desert stretches infinitely, symbolizing Existentialism, the freedom to create one's own meaning. While each path is unique, they are all part of the same journey. The search for inner peace, purpose, and authenticity. In this chapter, we will explore how these 3 philosophies can be integrated to form a holistic approach to life. The river, Taoism. The river teaches us to flow, to release control, to embrace life as it comes. Practice. Start each morning with a few moments of quiet reflection, asking yourself, what am I holding on to? What can I let go of today? Repeat the Taoist mantra, let go, flow, and trust. The mountain, Stoicism. The mountain reminds us to stand strong amidst life's storms, to focus on what we can control and to accept what we cannot. Practice. When faced with a stressful situation, ground yourself by visualizing a mountain. Stable, unmovable, calm. Ask, what can I control in this moment? How can I respond with reason rather than reaction? The desert, existentialism. The desert symbolizes the blank slate of life, a space where we must create our own meaning and define our own path. Practice. Set aside 15 minutes each day to write about what matters most to you. Ask, what do I want my life to stand for? What values will I choose to guide me? Combining Wu Wei and Amor Fati. Wu Wei, effortless action, and Amor Fati, the love of fate, both emphasize the importance of acceptance. The Taoist approach encourages us to flow with life's changes, while the Stoic perspective urges us to embrace whatever happens as necessary for our growth. Exercise, the Taoist Stoic reflection. Think of a current challenge in your life, a job loss, a conflict, a health issue. Write down 3 things you are resisting or trying to control. Next, write 3 ways you can practice Wu Wei, letting go, accepting, flowing. Finally, write 3 reasons why this challenge might be a necessary part of your journey, a way to build strength, patience, or perspective, transforming obstacles into purpose. Both Stoicism and Existentialism focus on turning hardship into opportunity. The Stoics view obstacles as tests of virtue, a chance to practice courage, patience, or resilience. Existentialists see suffering as a blank canvas on which we can paint our own meaning. Example, the existentialist soldier. A soldier injured in battle loses his ability to walk. The Stoic approach. This is a test of endurance. How can I use this experience to cultivate inner strength? The existentialist approach. Life has no inherent meaning, but I can create my own. I will dedicate my time to helping other veterans find purpose after injury. Exercise, the existential Stoic journal. Each evening, write down 1 challenge you faced and how you responded. Ask yourself, how did I respond like a Stoic, with reason and composure? How did I respond like an existentialist? By creating meaning from the situation. Letting go while creating meaning. Taoism teaches us to let go of expectations and flow with life. Existentialism teaches us to define our own purpose even in a meaningless world, integrating acceptance and purpose. When faced with a situation beyond our control, we can choose to accept it, Taoist approach. Define what it means to us, existentialist approach. Example, the river and the desert. A writer's novel is rejected by publishers. Taoist approach, I will flow with life's currents and release attachment to outcomes. Existentialist approach, I will write another novel, using this rejection as fuel for my creative expression. Morning routine. The river, the mountain, and the desert. Start with 5 minutes of deep breathing. Taoism. Visualize yourself as a river flowing effortlessly. Spend 5 minutes reflecting on what is within your control today. Stoicism. Spend 5 minutes journaling about 1 meaningful action you will take. Existentialism. Midday check-in, the 3-question pause. When feeling overwhelmed, ask yourself, am I flowing or resisting Taoism? Am I focusing on what I can control, Stoicism? Am I creating meaning from this moment, Existentialism? Evening reflection, the river, the mountain, the desert. Review your day and write down 1 moment where you let go and flowed, Taoism. 1 moment where you practiced resilience, Stoicism. 1 moment where you created meaning, Existentialism. Conflict resolution, Taoist. Listen without reacting. Let go of the need to be right. Stoic focus on your response, not the other person's behavior. Existentialist define what the conflict means to you and what lesson it holds. Dealing with loss. Taoist let go of attachment and accept the flow of life. Stoic reflect on the impermanence of all things. Existentialist create meaning by dedicating time to a cause or passion. Narration. In the art of living, there is no single path. The river flows, the mountain stands, the desert stretches infinitely. Each offers a lesson: to let go, to stand firm, to create meaning. In Taoism, we learn to flow like water, embracing life's currents without resistance. In Stoicism, we learn to ground ourselves like the mountain, unshaken by external events. In Existentialism, we learn to wander through the desert, creating meaning from the vastness of life's uncertainty. Together, these philosophies form a unified approach to living, a way to navigate the complexities of life with grace, strength, and purpose. Throughout this exploration, we have traveled through three profound philosophical landscapes: Taoism, the art of flowing. We learn to let go of resistance, to flow with life's currents like water, and to embrace the present moment without striving or forcing outcomes. We practiced Wu Wei, effortless action, allowing things to unfold naturally while maintaining inner calm. Stoicism, the art of inner strength. We explored the dichotomy of control, focusing on what we can control and accepting what we cannot. We cultivated resilience by reframing challenges as opportunities for growth, practicing amor fati, the love of fate, and embracing hardship as a necessary part of our journey. Existentialism, the art of creating meaning. We confronted the absurdity of life and acknowledged that while life may have no inherent meaning, we have the freedom and responsibility to create our own purpose. We embraced the concept of existential freedom, choosing authenticity over conformity and meaning over mere existence. Despite their differences, these three philosophies converge in one essential principle: life is not about what happens to us, but how we choose to respond. Taoism teaches us to be present, to accept the flow of life as it is without attachment or resistance. Stoicism teaches us to cultivate inner strength, to face challenges with calmness and composure. Existentialism teaches us to create our own meaning, to take ownership of our choices and define our purpose. Together they form a holistic framework for living a life of presence, purpose, and peace. Morning routine. The three-stage ritual. Breathe Taoism. Spend 5 minutes in silent breathing, visualizing yourself as a river flowing calmly through any obstacles. Reflect Stoicism. Take 5 minutes to identify what you can and cannot control today. Write Existentialism. Spend 5 minutes writing down one action that will add meaning to your day: a kind gesture, a creative project, a personal goal. Midday check-in, the centering practice. Pause and take a deep breath. Ask yourself, am I flowing with life or resisting it? Taoism. Am I reacting to what is beyond my control? Stoicism. Am I acting in alignment with my values? Existentialism. Evening reflection, the gratitude journal. Before bed, write down one thing you let go of today. Taoism. One challenge you faced with resilience. Stoicism. One action that brought meaning to your day. Existentialism. The Taoist perspective. Laozi teaches that the Tao is unknowable, a force that cannot be defined or controlled. Life's uncertainties are not to be feared, but accepted as part of the natural flow. The further one goes, the less one knows. Laozi. The Stoic perspective. Epictetus reminds us that uncertainty is a constant in life. The Stoic approach is to prepare for it without fearing it, to build inner strength and maintain a calm mind, regardless of external events. What will happen to me tomorrow, I do not know, but I do know that I can respond with virtue today. The existential perspective. For existentialists, uncertainty is not a curse, but an opportunity, a blank canvas on which we can paint our own meaning. Freedom is what you do with what's been done to you. Sartre. Fear of losing control. Taoism. Taoism teaches us that control is an illusion. Instead of clinging, we learn to flow, to release expectations, and accept life as it is. Practice. The next time you feel anxious, close your eyes and visualize a river. Imagine yourself as the water moving fluidly through obstacles, unhindered and free. Fear of failure. Stoicism. Stoicism teaches us that failure is not a source of shame, but a lesson. Practice. Write down one recent failure and list 3 lessons it taught you. Repeat the Stoic mantra: what stands in the way becomes the way. Fear of meaninglessness. Existentialism. Existentialism teaches us that life is inherently meaningless, but that we are free to create our own meaning. Practice. Ask yourself, if life had no external purpose, what would I choose to do with it? Write down 3 actions that align with your deepest values and commit to one each day. Day 1 Taoism. Focus on letting go. Identify one area where you are resisting life and practice Wu Wei, allowing things to unfold naturally. Day 2 Stoicism. Practice amor fati, the love of fate. Identify one challenge and reframe it as a lesson. Day 3 Existentialism. Choose to create meaning in a mundane task. Transform a routine chore into an opportunity for mindfulness or creativity. Day 4 Integration Day. Apply all 3 philosophies. Flow like water Taoism. Stand firm like a mountain Stoicism. Define your own path Existentialism. Day 5 Reflection Day. Spend 30 minutes journaling about what you learned throughout the week. Narration. In the end, the true art of living is not found in a single philosophy, but in the integration of many. Taoism teaches us to flow with life. Stoicism teaches us to stand firm amidst chaos, and existentialism teaches us to define our own meaning. Life is not a single destination, but a continuous journey. Some days we are the river flowing effortlessly. Other days we are the mountain standing strong and unyielding. And sometimes we are the wanderer in the desert, searching for meaning in a vast empty landscape. But no matter where we are always moving forward, discovering, growing, and becoming. The path is not straight, nor is it easy, but it is ours to walk, to create, and to define. Narrator's voice, calm and reflective. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the art of living. If this exploration resonated with you, consider making a daily practice of integrating these philosophies into your life. If you found value in this content, share it with someone who might also be seeking clarity, purpose, or inner peace. And remember, life is a journey, not a destination. Flow, stand firm, and create your own meaning.